Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm glad to be at least virtually part of this workshop, and I apologize not being able to be physically present here. But taking this opportunity, I would like to share some of my views on how Panchayat Raj or the local self-governments have helped the fishing community, especially the women, as I work with a women's organization, Sakhi, and I represent them here. The Panchayat Raj institutions was an opportunity for women in terms of their representation. With the 50% of reservation, more women have come into the forefront. And this is an opening for women to be in the public space. If you visit a panchayat, you can see that there are more women in the panchayat due to the opening, due to the reservation with women leaders over there, which gives more confidence to women to approach them, to discuss their issues. And also the Grama Sabha or the Kudumbashrees are another two platforms which has opened the scope of women in the public forum. If you look at the coastal area as a whole, the 80 kilometers of coastal land in KILA, you find that the communities are different, and the role played by women is also different. So if you look in the Trivandrum side, the role of women is different. If you look at the Kollam district, the role of women is different. And if you go to the northern side, it is also different. So where we need different types of plans for each area rather than a common general plan. So here we find that if you look at in some areas, women are responsible to look after the whole family in terms of bringing the livelihood. But in other places, it is the women, the whole burden lies on the women. And men also migrate to other places for work, and most of the days they are not at home also. So finally, the whole burden of looking after the family lies with the women. And if something happens to the male in the family, the whole burden falls on the women. They have to not only look after the family into the day-to-day food or health or education of the children, which already they are responsible. They also have to clear the debt incurred for the vessels or incurred by the men for their livelihood. So that has to be cleared by the women. So the burden again increases. This makes women more vulnerable day by day. So there are multiple, the issues are so complex and multiple for the women in the coastal areas than the women in the other mainland areas. So that is where we need to have a very concrete plan. So this is why women attend all the platforms. They don't leave anything. They go to the panchayat, they go to the parallel institutions. Wherever help is given, they go there. And the parallel institutions also give them mental support also, emotional support also. And panchayats are opened, the 12th five-year plan, the government has come up with guidelines that the fishing communities with more than 25 fishermen, registered fishermen with the department has to have a Malsi Sabha, which is similar to the Grama Sabha, so that they can just focus on their issues and that doesn't get sidelined while other people are there. So they want to have a Malsi Sabha which focuses on them. What we need to do is take this opportunity and empower these people, the community, in different ways to make them understand how they can ask, what are the things they can discuss in the Grama Sabha or the Malsi Sabha, whatever we call it. What they can ask, what they can discuss, and what they should ask for in the women's component plan, whether it should be completely a practical needs or whether they should address strategic needs also. And when they are drastically affected by the climate impacts, what happens is their strategic needs becomes their practical needs. If you look at the coastal areas, we find that women are great agents of change, which other states also can't follow it out. The coastal villages in other states can also take it up. First of all, their livelihood have been affected, and what they have done is they have gone for alternate livelihoods, and alternate livelihoods like they have gone for stitching, they have gone for value-added commercial products, they didn't stick alone to their traditional value-added products, but they have gone into commercialization of the value-added products. Likewise, they have moved into different, because they are also educated. The women in these coastal areas also have minimal level of education also, and that makes them shy away by moving into the traditional fishing work also. So they are looking into alternatives also. So that in a way it is good, because from the traditional work they may not get the regular lively income for survival and to take care of the family. So this is something which other coastal communities or in other states can also think of, and where rather organizations or the government can take some plans from Kerala. A lot of schemes are being implemented in Kerala with regard to that, and other states can look into that schemes and adapt certain things to their conditions as well. The last 3 years, especially after the Oki, and this year's now last week, what is happening in the coastal areas with the sequence of cyclones happening in a week, all this shows that fishing alone cannot be a livelihood, and especially women who are dependent on that as fish vendors. So unless some fish catch comes, they have no livelihood. This is where a lot of government can step in, whether it's a panchayat or the state. They can pitch in and open up a lot of alternative schemes for them. Already they have some, but they need to think about more, because the younger generation, if we go to the coastal areas, if we do talk to them, we find that the younger generation show less interest in continuing their traditional work. Recently, the government, after the last 3 years of continuous one after the other disasters, government has come up with a working group on biodiversity, disaster and climate change in every panchayats. And this is a great opportunity where each local self-government can do something. And here women as agents of change, they are very critical in the planning process. Without women, there's not going to be any development, because they play a great role.